saying goes, last but not least, we have Jijia over here. And I think one thing that really amazes me about Jijia is his creativity. When I did my project selection call with him, so like every student, they have a project selection call with like an instructor here. We have a guy who puts their intensive project. I learned how creative he was. I first noticed that his camera seemed to follow his head. So I asked him, and it turns out he uses a DJI, was it Osmo? Osmo Pocket 3, which I want, by the way. So you can buy them at Costco. But very cool. I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Then I learned that he's actually a handyman in his local next door community. That was also very interesting. And so I secretly really wanted him to be in my class. I didn't know Claudia at the time, but thankfully he ended up in my class because I really wanted to see what he did with this project. He initially picked a bicycle that would store energy. It's like a renewable energy with a bicycle. Due to feasibility concerns, that was not possible. But again, I was not disappointed when he picked this. I'm sure you guys will all share the same sentiment. So give it up for him.
Howdy y'all, my name is Jijia and I go to St. Louis High School, which is in Houston, Texas. This is my VFA lockbox, which basically stands for 3-function authentication, which includes a keypad and iris sensor and RFID over here. The reason I chose this project is because it both gives me a good technical challenge while also being very practical in the real life use. So here I'll do a demo. I stored one of my RFID cards and the iris sensor on this Flipper Zero just for easier use. So it says here, please scan card. I'm gonna hit emulate. I should be emulating one of the cards. Now you light up. Now it sends error signal. Switch over to the red. Save those. Sometimes we get a little bit weird because you get error OK. Then I come in my passcode. Yeah, sometimes I mistype it, but like. Give me a moment. Yeah, okay. Sorry. So basically, I type in this passcode, and then the box will unlock, and then it will function as per usual. So you scan the RFID, lights up. You have the iris signal. Then you type in the passcode, which is really long. I'm just going to skip over it. And then it opens. So that's like what's inside. This is basically what you would see inside of the box. Here you got the main power source, which is connected to the computer, and then you got the 2 servos right here and right there. That basically latches onto those 2 locking latches, which locks the box. And down there you will see Arduino Mega board, which controls the whole board. Then you got your the button to lock it, LCD screen, and the keypad. So, then into more detail of how the authentication works. First, you will scan the RFID. It sends out a challenge and response code to the from the RFID reader to the Flipper Zero in this case, or it can be a key card. And then if the challenge, the response code is correct, it's sent back to the board, and then it tells the board to check for the iris signal. If the iris signal is correct, and then it tells the board to check for the keypad, the key code, which is a really long one. And then, if that's correct, and both servos rotate in opposite directions, which unlocks the whole box. The biggest challenge I had along the way is actually getting the components to talk to each other, and also like wiring the components up while based on the things I saw, like the schematics I saw online. So like on the software side, it mainly code. There's a lot of code. Like I remember there's like about 500 lines of code, which basically does a lot of things, but it's also very difficult to get it working all together because you have 3 forms of authentication. You have to get it working consecutively. You cannot have fails in between. get it to work, which the chance is very low. Hardware side is like how to interpret the different schematics online. Which when I started with the base project, which is just the RFID reader and the board, that's like fairly simple. But when I added to a modification, which is the button, the keypad, and the IR sensor, which has become increasingly more difficult. Some of the modifications I already talked about, like is the button, the keypad, and the IR sensor, which add on to the securityness of this whole project. What I learned over at Bootstand is like how to interpret the schematics, how to code, and how to figure out why some part is not working, how to troubleshoot that. Overall, I think Bootstand is a really great opportunity for you to learn stuff. For example, soldering, if you haven't learned before, how to interpret schematics, how to code in different languages, and I think it's just a really great opportunity. Also, all of the instructors are very great. Thank you for Terry, Brian, all of the instructors. Everybody is so great. Yeah, and some of my next steps about this project is I will improve the storage space. Right now, there's only a tiny box where you can put some of your jewelry, maybe some valuable stuff inside. My next step will be to cut out this whole bottom and put a box underneath it to make the storage bigger. Or alternatively, I could turn this into a metal box, which will increase the security measure of it. Or I could implement biometric design, which is authentication, which would just bring it to a whole entire different level. But that's in the process. I'm still working on it now. Yeah, thank you guys for listening tonight, and thank you for coming.
Is there any way, if you forget your password, is there any way you can reset it or just change it?
Yes, I did not mention that. There is a bypass code, which it's slightly shorter for sure. It's a bypass code which when you enter it, it just bypasses all of this, the authentication measure, which just allows you to get into the box, like an admin password, if you will. Yes.
Is there a reason you chose to have it input a longer password as opposed to a shorter 4-character password? Was there a specific reason?
Yes. One being is longer the password, the more secure, I guess. Two, also it's just a string of number I know from my life. I'm never gonna forget it. I'm never gonna get it wrong.
Is there any reason the bypass code is shorter than the actual?
I don't have a good reason, but if I were to say is if you were to use the bypass code, it's for sure something to be emergency. You forgot something emergency inside. So it will have to be shorter for you to be able to access the things inside quicker.
There's space to put anything in there?
Yes, yes, there is space, but very minimal right now. So my next step is to plan to expand that.
I saw so you're using something called a flipper. I've never seen that before. What is that?
So, not sponsored by the way. So this is a Flipper Zero. It basically combines sub-gigahertz, infrared, NFC, RFID, and many different communication ways to combine all into this tiny little contraption. The reason I use this on the lockbox is before I switched to this, I actually used a key card, which had a problem with the rolling UID problem with the reader. But if I put it on this, the Flipper Zero will emulate, this is an antenna on the back, it will emulate a fixed UID code on the back, so every time I don't have to change or alter the code to make it work.